Hi everyone, this is Margarita with City Gal Papeterie. Welcome to my channel. On today's video, I will be going over ways that you can use your scrap paper. As you can see, I created a few collage sheets that I could use for other projects. My son is going to be joining me here in the first part of this project. He wanted to create his own collage, and so you'll see us there working side by side. I let him pick any pieces of paper that he wanted from my scrap stash. I also chose a bunch of different pieces from my stash. I tried to keep them in similar or coordinating color families. So I'm doing here some pink, some oranges, and a little bit of blue. And I'm kind of just placing everything on the paper like a puzzle so that it all fits on there. I'm using a brown 110-pound cardstock as my background, and that's because I really don't use brown paper, and I thought this would be a really great way to use up some of that brown cardstock. So yeah, if that gives you guys any ideas, if there's any particular color that you find you don't use because you got it like in a pack with multiple colors, this would be a great way to use those up. So here we just continue gluing down our pieces of paper onto our cardstock using glue sticks. These are Scotch glue sticks. I think they were old because they did not adhere down as well as I would have liked, but they did the job. We got everything down, and later on I will just show you different projects that I made using these collaged sheets. I didn't pre-cut any of these pieces. I literally just reached into my stash, grabbed a bunch of different pinks and blues and green pieces of paper, and just started putting them onto my background in different places. Now my son, of course, is placing down his sheets with no thought whatsoever, which is what I should be doing, but yeah, I'm kind of thinking a little bit too much about where I'm putting my paper. Either way, it turned out fine, but this is a good way to just let loose and not think too much when you're creating. It's nice to just make, just create without so much thought. And I also try and include some pieces of the same type in more than one place on the paper, if that makes sense, just so that it pulls everything together. So you'll see there's like the pink with the lighter pink filigree on the top left and also in the center. And that was, so that it kind of blends well. Now I'm just cutting off all of the edges to remove all of that excess paper that is sticking out, and just to make sure that my edges are all even. My son is just waiting his turn there on the corner. He decided to keep his collage as is, and he did not want to make any further projects with them, and that is just fine. So I'm saving it for if and when he decides to do something else with it. I will not be using it since I didn't get permission to. So I'm just going to keep it in my stash somewhere until he's ready to use it for something else if he wants to. So that's the first sheet completed, and I'm going to bring in a couple of others. Here I'm just straightening out his edges, the edges from his collage. Here I made one with blue and green pieces of scrap paper. This is the one I just completed on camera, and then here are a couple more with pinks and blues. I'm now going to be making an 8.5 by 11 book layout using these small Instax photos of my youngest son when he came home from the hospital. He was so teeny tiny. And I framed my photos with this gold washi tape. Get it right all around the edges. And then I find where I want to place my photos, and using this double-sided tape by 3M, I adhere them down onto my background. So this blue background, I really like it. It not only has florals and other patterns. It also has this navy colored corrugated cardboard that I had in my stash that I completely forgot about. And so it gives it this really nice texture and some dimension, and it looks really, really nice in person. In the video, I feel like it doesn't really do it justice because it's so nice. It's such a nice quality corrugated cardboard. And then these letters that I bring in for my title come from some letters that were left over from my previous layout, which is also posted on the YouTube channel if you are interested in seeing that. And I use the letters just to write out my boy. And I glue that with just regular white glue right onto that corrugated cardboard to give it some really nice contrast. And part of the reason I chose these two photos was because they coordinated well with the background. There are some yellows. His little bassinet has some mint green, and so that's also in the background. And I thought that they went really well with this background here. And so there's my title, all nice and down. I am now going to be adhering my background layout to another cardstock, and that will help it to flatten out a little bit. My paper is curved, and I think that's because of all of the glue stick from the collaging. And so again, I'm just laying down a little bit more double-sided tape onto the back, and I make sure to get it all around the frame, the edges, just to make sure that it sticks down pretty well. I don't want it to be lifting up in the corners especially. And once that is taped down, then this background is just about complete. I believe I add in just a couple of elements more, and that is this small card with some journaling on it. And then I also use some of the corners that were left over after cutting the frame washi tape that I used after cutting out, the frame. I had some corner pieces left over or some triangular pieces left over, and so I kind of stick those just randomly. And so I stick those randomly onto the paper in different areas of my scrap collage. And then just to complete it, I grabbed this teeny tiny little paper clip and I just add it to the card where my journaling is. And that completes my little layout there. Ways that you can use these collage pieces are for ATC cards, which you see here. I also stamped, colored, and then cut out these small images of pets, cats, and dogs. These stamps are by Tim Holtz. And then I printed out some words on my printer and cut them out and then added them to those ATC cards. And then a final thing you could also use these sheets for are for mixed media pieces. As you can see here, I use this one as a layout as well, and added a photo to it, but you can obviously add other pieces, like to create a nice mixed media background. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for being with me, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.